contribution to the 2013 budget as presented by the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ashley Kumar Singh, under the theme, Overcoming Challenges Together, Accelerating Gains for Guyana. Madam Speaker, if we are to indeed accelerate gains for Guyana, we have to put aside party politics and work together to achieve consensus. Consultations and consensus are critical to the country's survival and growth and should not simply be bandied about. Madam Speaker, I wish to turn my attention to Guyana and the diaspora. A nation's diaspora is that part of its population that has emigrated overseas and is permanently resident in foreign countries. These immigrants may or may not hold citizenship in their respective host countries. Whether or not they do, they often seek the services of their home country directly or through its representatives abroad, embassies, high commissions, consulates, etc., in respect to their own needs and those of relatives and friends. Many of these immigrants may eventually form households involving persons from within or outside their national group and create families of second and subsequent generation members who by extension become nationals of the ancestral homeland. Madam Speaker, I believe that the budget is somewhat deficient in terms of allocating resources to facilitate economic foreign policy. The national budget must be used as the economic tool to facilitate the enhancement of diaspora engagement. My research has indicated that many countries which are subject to development constraints of one type or another have looked to their nationals abroad as an effective means of overcoming their financial, investment, technological, and human deficiencies. It is worthy to note that His Excellency, President Donald Ramotar, has recognized these constraints and the need for assistance. This is illustrated in a Starboard News article dated Tuesday, July 10, 2012, on page 6, captioned, Ramotar urges diplomats to tap diaspora for development. South African mission to be set up. In that article, His Excellency was quoted as saying that, and I quote, Guyana does not have all the resources to have all the investments that will be needed to develop the country. And there is a need to attract investment from abroad. End of quote. He further pointed out that Guyana's image should be one of a country that is efficient, and much can be learned from nationals that live in various parts of the world. End of quote. Madam Speaker, I support these statements, but would like to inform the government that this would remain an ideal if we do not design a policy that speaks to a coherent system of engagement with members of that community. A tremendous amount of things are happening in a piecemeal fashion. The mere launching of the Diaspora Project without specifics and how it will be implemented would not suffice. Projects must be used to achieve policies. Madam Speaker, I wish to pose the following question. Is the government's diaspora policy only about selling land to that community? If that is true, it is clearly doomed to failure. Madam Speaker, Guyana must be willing to make the social, political, organizational, and technical effort to mobilize the diaspora. The budget must open the floodgates for creating structures that could be used to establish the links through which Guyana could effectively and productively be connected with the diaspora. Some members of our diaspora play a key role in many aspects of our society, such as in healthcare and education. In many instances, it is voluntary. I would like to personally commend directors of health and educational relief organization, and their tireless core of volunteers who are continuously working on a number of healthcare and education-related initiatives that are designed to improve the quality of life for the Guyanese people and encourage them to continue to do more for the country. Mr. David Granger, the leader of the opposition, has recognized the importance of forging formal partnership with the diaspora to achieve the goals of Guyana's national agenda, and has made a commitment to set up a diaspora unit so as to encourage members of our diaspora, those concentrated in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and other parts of the world. Madam Speaker, our foreign ministry, that is our consulates, embassies, and high commissions, must be the bridges to the diaspora. They implement diaspora strategies and programs in the host countries. Guyana's budget has to make provisions so as to ensure that our consulates and embassies can indeed serve as the bridges to the diaspora. If our diaspora policy is placed on a weak foundation, like the bridge was at Supanan, it will sink. It will float away like the wharf at Charity. And I believe that economic diplomacy is on shaky foundation because the allocation is inadequate. Madam Speaker, my research has shown that the government of Jamaica is already on the way with a broadly based approach to harnessing its diaspora in the United States, the United Kingdom, and in Canada as part of a planned overall development program. Similar efforts, though not as far as advanced, are underway in Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is time Guyana gets on the move in this direction too. Madam Speaker, I wish to turn my attention to remittances. I am appalled that the Minister of Finance did not consider it appropriate to develop a policy on remittances. Remittances have become a major phenomenon in finance. The World Bank estimated that in 2005, migrations sent home approximately $167 billion, up to 73% from 2001. In 2006, the World Bank reported that remittances grew to approximately $206 billion. These flows have led analysts to conclude that the growth of remittances has exceeded private capital flows and official development assistance to developing countries. This is supported by a statement made by the Minister of Finance in his budget presentation on page 9, paragraph 3.12, where he states that, and I quote, net current transfers increased by 1.1% to US $419.2 million due to higher receipts of worker remittances, which increased by 13.9% to US $469.3 million, end of quote. As these numbers indicate, remittances have developed into an important source of income for many developing countries, including Guyana. Transaction costs is, however, a significant constraint for small personal transfers. The IDB estimated that the average cost of sending remittances to Latin America and the Caribbean was approximately $4 billion in 2002 in total. The costs typically include both a fee transmission and currency conversion. Madam Speaker, the World Bank has indicated that reducing remittance costs and improving the infrastructure would be beneficial in several ways. It also indicated that by reducing costs, remitters will have more disposable income, which may lead to more being available for remittances. Madam Speaker, it is instrumental to note that other countries such as Mexico and Nigeria are trying to lower costs of remittances. I wish to ask, what is Guyana doing to reduce remittance costs? Madam Speaker, I would like to focus now on Guyana's foreign relations and foreign policy as a platform for achieving economic prosperity in our country. The foreign policy of small states are often dominated by economic considerations, both in relation to the general lack of diplomatic resources and the fact that economic development is the main goal of foreign policy. It is my humble opinion that at this stage in Guyana's development, a major objective of our foreign policy should be the achievement of prosperity, particularly if we will uphold a sacrosanct Article 14 of Guyana's Constitution, which states that, and I quote, "The goal of economic development includes the objective of creating, promoting, and encouraging an economic system capable of achieving and maintaining sustainable competitive advantage in the context of a global competitive environment by fostering entrepreneurship, individual and group initiative and creativity, and strategic alliances with domestic and global business partners in the private sector." End of quote. A partnership for national unity supports a foreign policy that would facilitate economic growth and development. The questions which loom large, Madam Speaker, are: where do we focus? With which country should we have a stronger relationship? Where would some foreign direct investment come from? Madam Speaker, the Minister of Finance, on page 49, paragraph 4.117 of his budget speech states that, and I quote, "Also in 2012, there was sustained dialogue with our immediate neighbors, Brazil, Suriname, and Venezuela, as we sought to consolidate efforts to achieve well-defined programs of cooperation. We will continue to work with these countries to advance current initiatives and to identify additional areas for further strengthening of relations. Government will also continue to consolidate relations with countries with which Guyana has had traditional ties, while fostering the development of new strategic alliances." End of quote. In view of the way forward, Guyana needs to be consistently applying a pragmatic approach to the formulation of foreign policies, emphasizing the need to translate agreements into concrete economic benefits, thereby using our limited diplomatic capital to the most beneficial end. Madam Speaker, may I ask the Honorable Minister, what have been the specific benefits of these cooperation programs for the Guyanese people? While we seek to foster the development of strategic alliances, how about Guyana's role in ensuring that existing alliances like CARICOM function in accord with the commitments made by its members? We have to bear in mind the fact that some members of CARICOM observe some of its objectives in the breach. And in this instance, I cite the case of Shanik Mairi case, a landmark case in which the CCJ is being asked to interpret the revised Treaty of Chaguaranas and provide a clear position on rights and privileges for Caribbean nationals when traveling in the region. We have to be concerned over the fact that Guyanese are frequently denied entry into Barbados, a member nation of CARICOM. Only a few weeks ago, the Stabroek newspaper, in an article dated Saturday, March 9, 2013, on page 9, observed that, and I quote, "Guyana topped list of CARICOM nationals denied entry to Barbados." Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should publicize the existing complaints and appeal mechanisms so that affected Guyanese travelers would be able to lay their complaints when they suffer similar treatment. Madam Speaker, no Guyanese should be denied entry to any CARICOM country in defiance of the rules of the regional treaty. Underlying a common market is free movement of factors of production, including people. Guyanese should be allowed the same easy entry into member states that Guyana affords foreign nationals. Madam Speaker, the last few decades have witnessed a variety of efforts to encourage the multilateral degree of political and economic regional integrations now being seen in South America. The Union of South American Nations is the most recent to which Guyana is a participant. In committing ourselves to these initiatives, we should ascertain the benefits. What economic benefits flow from our involvement in UNICEF? UNICEF's stated objectives include the creation of a single South American market by eliminating tariffs and promoting the increased development of the region's international infrastructure, such as the interoceanic highway now under construction between Brazil and Peru. Madam Speaker, what has actually materialized so far? We in APNU would like to see Guyana move beyond the point of merely attending conferences and signing agreements. We also want to see evidence of economic cooperation, resulting in future benefits for the Guyanese people. We should concentrate on partnership agreements, which would see the establishment of joint economic ventures with members of UNICEF. Madam Speaker, there has been an exceptionally large influx of Brazilians in Guyana, perhaps as a result of Guyana being a member of UNICEF. The question which must be answered is whether there has been any Brazilian investment in sectors apart from mining or the explosion in our entertainment sector. Also, are these legal mining ventures which exploit Guyana's natural resources and add to the coffers of the Guyana government? What is more, the government should be seeking to encourage all Brazilian entrepreneurs to provide employment opportunities for Guyana, for Guyanese rather than Brazilians exclusively. As part of the policy of regional integration, our education curriculum, for example, ought to be redesigned so as to ease communication with the new migrants. For example, Portuguese should be taught in all schools in Regions 8 and 9, and Spanish in the schools of Region 1, which is close to Venezuela. As we seek to deepen regional integration, foreign policy should be fashioned to support our economic development process. Madam Speaker, since the PPP has no such policy, I wish to urge the PPP administration to adopt the policy of APNU. That policy as set out, as outlined in its 2011 manifesto, which states that the overarching focus of Guyana's foreign policy will be Guyana's national interests, principally the security of the state and its people, and the social and economic development of all its citizens. Madam Speaker, let us work together to formulate a foreign policy that supports our economic development and aspirations and brings benefits to all the people of Guyana. Yes, a growth rate of 4.5% may set Guyana apart from its neighbors in these times of sluggish growth, but we have to translate that number into meaningful benefits for the man in the street, the ordinary people, the poor. In concluding, Madam Speaker, let me say APNU wants to see the following: equality of opportunity and equity, a willingness by the government to accept constructive criticism, suggestions and proposals so that the challenges the country is faced with can be overcome, an arrangement to lower the cost of remittances, and more importantly, the identification of the diaspora policy and the establishment of the diaspora department, a foreign policy that will provide a framework for growth and development. Instead of suggesting that criticism and expressions of concerns are unpatriotic, government and the PPP would be better advised to take seriously the recommendations that have been made here and across the country. Failing to do so guarantee that the people of Guyana would not benefit fully from the full development of our resources and the realization of our potential. Madam Speaker, APNU is interested in the progress of all the people of Guyana. We urge the members on the other side to help us make a reality of our motto, one people, one nation, one destiny. Thank you.